Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the United States Military Academy. Today, the United States Corps of Cadets will conduct the 4th Class Acceptance Parade, at which time the Class of 2030 will be formally accepted into the Corps of Cadets. While the cadets assemble for the parade, we would like to give you a brief history of the actions you will observe on the plane today. Military drill has played a fundamental role in the history of soldiering. Drill prepared troops for battle, and for the most part, the drill procedures used in the days of old copied actual battlefield maneuvers. It was this realistic aspect of drill that made it such an important part of training. Even today, as new weapons call for new tactics, drill remains a necessary and useful training activity. Over 200 years ago, the problem of training an army already at war confronted the founders of our nation. Suffering from lack of organization, discipline, and teamwork, George Washington's Continental Army continually lost to superior British forces. Washington recognized the poor state of morale and hired a distinguished Prussian officer who specialized in the instruction of drill and discipline. Baron von Steuben arrived at Valley Forge in the winter of 1778 to face an army of several thousand half-starved, ragged men. He immediately set to work writing drill regulations for a company of 120 soldiers chosen from various units in the Continental Army. Discipline soon became the cornerstone of military life for the soldiers of the model company as they learned to obey commands without hesitation. By mastering the art of drill through teamwork, the men developed a collective sense of pride in themselves and their unit. Observers watching the model company were astonished to see how quickly and orderly the troops formed and maneuvered into different battle formations. Later, General Washington distributed the members of the model company throughout the army to teach what they had been taught. Through this simple emphasis on drill, the effectiveness and efficiency of the Continental Army greatly improved. In 1779, to ensure continuity and uniformity, von Steuben wrote the American Army's first field manual, the Regulations for the Order and Discipline of the Troops of the United States, commonly referred to as the Blue Book. You will see the cadets saluting throughout the parade on the command of "Present Arms." Since the earliest of times, men of arms have used some form of salute as a means of greeting one another. In the age of chivalry, horse-mounted knights wore steel armor which completely covered the face and body. When two friendly knights met, they would each lift their visors with their right hand to expose their faces to each other and use their left hand to hold the reins. Not only did this allow the knights to recognize each other, but it was also a deliberate movement of their sword hand away from their swords. Over time, this action became a significant gesture of friendship, camaraderie, and respect. The act of raising the right hand to the visor continued even after steel body armor became obsolete with the invention of modern firearms. Today, the most commonly observed form of this exchange is the hand salute. It is given as a recognition and friendly greeting to a comrade in the honorable profession of arms. For today's parade, spectators are reminded to stand and render appropriate courtesies for honors, our national anthem, and when the colors pass your position. It is appropriate for civilians at this time to stand with the right hand placed over the heart. Veterans and currently serving members of the U.S. Armed Forces who are not in uniform may render the hand salute. Spectators are also reminded not to smoke and to please refrain from loud talking during the parade. As a courtesy to others seated around you, kindly take all of your pictures from your seat throughout the ceremony. Today's parade represents the acceptance of the class of 2030 into the Corps of Cadets. This parade also signifies the promotion of the class of 2030 from new cadets to cadet privates. The class of 2029 was promoted to the rank of cadet corporal in a ceremony at Camp Buckner. The classes of 2028 and 2027 were promoted to the ranks of cadet sergeant and cadet officer, respectively, in ceremonies conducted in May at the end of graduation week. Shortly, you will observe two formations of cadet units facing each other on the plane. The class of 2030, led by the Brigade Command Sergeant Major, Cadet Command Sergeant Major George Donahue from St. James, New York, will form to your immediate front, facing the upper-class companies they will soon join.
You're supposed to be standing, you know.
Mentioned it, but then
No one did it, and I didn't want to do it by myself. You stand up, I'll stand up.
I think present the flag.
Kayla, where you at?
The way things are now, you're thinking you have to get subscription just to keep it open. It's ridiculous. So it's pretty much no win.
Let me see about the tower. You need something on. That's all right. Let's try one more time. Yeah, why did they make it this size? Without
Currently assembled on the plane is the United States Military Academy Band and the band's field music group, the Hellcats. At the time of the American Revolution, the band consisted of a single drummer and fifer and has evolved into one of the most capable and professional performing groups in the world. As the oldest musical organization in the United States Army, the West Point Band has been inspiring America's leaders for over 200 years.
The bugle call just heard was attention. It is used to alert the cadet commanders that adjutant's call is about to sound, signaling the start of the parade. Bugle calls are used in the military service of the United States as a direct result of the contact of the Continental Army with European soldiers and armies during the Revolutionary period. Marching in today's parade are cadets from allied nations enrolled in the 4-year program at the United States Military Academy. Upon graduation, they will serve in the armed forces of their respective countries. There are currently 59 allied cadets representing 31 different countries as members of the Corps of Cadets. 20 allied cadets are members of the class of 2030. Also marching in today's parade are exchange midshipmen from the United States Naval Academy, cadets from the United States Air Force Academy, and the United States Coast Guard Academy. They are attending West Point for the fall semester and can be identified by the uniform of their respective academy. A similar number of West Point cadets are attending the other service academies for the same period. The marches that will be played as the cadets march on the plain are The Regiment's Return and On Parade.
Right turn, forward!
turn. Mark.
Austin boys.
Right turn, boy. Right turn, march.
Right turn. Forward.
Right turn, march. Right turn, march. Hell yeah, first target.
Yep, that's her.
The marches that will be played as the United States Military Academy Band troops the line are National Emblem and the Washington Post. This march across the front of the line is said to have originated with the Crusades. The troops offering themselves for service were drawn up in a long formation, and the band countermarched only before those chosen to serve.
The commander of troops for today's parade is the Brigade Commander, Cadet First Captain Elizabeth Fetter from Palo Alto, California. Her staff consists of the Brigade Adjutant, Cadet Captain Aaron Allaire from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The Brigade Honor Captain, Cadet Captain Andrew Westermeyer from Plymouth, Minnesota. The Brigade Deputy Commander, Cadet Captain Karsten Hansen from Sunapee, New Hampshire. The Brigade Executive Officer, Cadet Captain Owen Warren from Roopville, Georgia. The Brigade Operations Officer, Cadet Captain Spencer Lynch from Fort Collins, Colorado. The Brigade Academics Officer, Cadet Captain Claire Schleck from Metuchen, New Jersey. And the Brigade Intelligence Officer, Cadet Captain Shalia Williams Espindola from Eva Beach, Hawaii. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2030. First marching to their respective academic year companies are Charlie, Foxtrot, and India. Second marching to their respective academic year companies are Bravo, Echo, and Hotel. The march being played as the fourth class takes their position in the corps is the Rookies. Lastly, marching to their respective academic year companies are Alpha, Delta, and Golf. In the reviewing stands today are leaders and representatives of West Point classes and societies. These alumni are proud to be here today to represent the long gray line which now stretches over 200 years. Representatives from the classes of 1977, 1978, 1979, and 1980 are seated in the Superintendent's Review box today as a part of the West Point Association of Graduates 50-year affiliation program that connects the senior classes with the current 4 classes in the Corps of Cadets. With us today are Lieutenant Colonel Retired Stan Warwick and Dr. Pam Warwick, class of 1977, Mr. Bob Rogers and his daughter Captain Shannon Berry, class of 1978, Colonel Retired Kent Abernathy, class of 1979, and Mike and Navarre Talbot, class of 1980. The reviewing party for today's parade consists of Lieutenant General Steve Gilland, Superintendent, United States Military Academy, class of 1990. Command Sergeant Major Phil Barretto, Command Sergeant Major of the United States Military Academy. Brigadier General Joseph Katz, Commandant of the United States Corps of Cadets, class of 1999. Command Sergeant Major Kyle Keenan, Command Sergeant Major of the United States Corps of Cadets. And Brigadier General Nicholas Gist, Dean of the Academic Board, class of 1996. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for honors and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem. Please feel free to sing along as our national anthem is played.
Stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and rockets were flying, while thirsty we proof in the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated.
Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of our alma mater, the most beloved of all West Point songs. The words to the alma mater were written by Cadet Paul S. Reinecke during his second year at the Academy. On June 9, 1912, 1 year after Reinecke's graduation, the alma mater was sung at the baccalaureate service for the first time and took its place as a musical expression of the feelings of every West Point graduate toward their alma mater. Alumni traditionally remove their headgear and stand at attention for the playing of the alma mater. You are cordially invited to sing along with us as the alma mater is played. Please be seated. The pass and review serves two functions for the superintendent. It dismisses the cadets and at the same time provides an opportunity to inspect the state of discipline and training. The marches that will be played as the cadets pass and review are America Exultant, the official West Point March, Sabres and Spurs, Inward Cargill, Black Horse Troop, and the Army goes rolling along.
The United States Military Academy Band is under the direction of the Commander and Conductor, Lieutenant Colonel Dae Kim, and the Drum Major, Master Sergeant Anna Pennington. The 1st Regiment is commanded by Cadet Captain Rex Taysom from Canton, Ohio. The Regimental Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Zoe Weimer from Fayetteville, North Carolina. The 1st Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Sophia Corona from Carlisle, Pennsylvania. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Christopher Wisman from Vilseck, Germany. Company A is commanded by Cadet Captain Brennan Speaks from Dunwoody, Georgia. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Mitch McMillan from Mason, Ohio. Company B is commanded by Cadet Captain Robert Lubkin from Nahant, Massachusetts. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Ethan Harashuk from Cincinnati, Ohio. Company C is commanded by Cadet Captain Ethan Puerta from San Diego, California. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Owen Hogue from Wilmington, North Carolina. The 2nd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Jack Kish from Huntersville, North Carolina. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Micah Thompson from Short Gap, West Virginia. Company D is commanded by Cadet Captain Ryan Kennedy from Phoenix, Arizona. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Connor Campion from Fairfax, Virginia. Company E is commanded by Cadet Captain Mira Shalat from Marriottsville, Maryland. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Madeline Zays from Alexandria, Virginia. Company F is commanded by Cadet Captain Gene Kang from Cumming, Georgia. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Ozil Carrillo from Rome, Texas. The 3rd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Carden McVeigh from Kingsport, Tennessee. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Mohammed Enjot from Chester, Virginia. Company G is commanded by Cadet Captain Thomas Letcher from Austin, Texas. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Ryan Oberwise Mannion from Los Altos, California.
There's one lady right in front of me. Over there. That's what I was trying to do.
Company H is commanded by Cadet Captain Tesfaye Lowe from Mekelle, Ethiopia. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Ian Abdallah from El Paso, Texas. Company I is commanded by Cadet Captain John Heimberg from Merrimack, New Hampshire. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Isabella Tamazian from Williamstown, New Jersey. The 2nd Regiment is commanded by Cadet Captain John Greenfield from Old Forge, Pennsylvania. The Regimental Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Carolyn Heckel from Corning, New York. The 1st Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Ryan Palmer from Dana Point, California. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Allison Campbell from Katy, Texas. Company A is commanded by Cadet Captain Sarah Peters from Katy, Texas. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Aaron Fuertes from Pearland, Texas.
My angle was like right where the lady was standing up, and all I had was her like head.
Company B is commanded by Cadet Captain Aiden Anderson from Batavia, New York. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Jonathan Searle from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Company C is commanded by Cadet Captain Jacob Klepper from Vicenza, Italy. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Paul Shetty from Fishers, Indiana. The 2nd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Mercedes Rothrock from Williamsport, Pennsylvania. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Benjamin Luders, Phoenix, Arizona. Company D is commanded by Cadet Captain William Young from South Jordan, Utah. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Michael Gonzalez from Miami, Florida. Company E is commanded by Cadet Captain Samantha Sims from Carl Junction, Missouri. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Trent Merriman from Newport Beach, California. Company F is commanded by Cadet Captain Brennan Garlock from Rochester, New York. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant David De La Torre from Orlando, Florida. The 3rd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Charles Bell from Altoona, Iowa. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Elihu Wagner from San Diego, California. Company G is commanded by Cadet Captain Joseph Schwartz from Middletown, Wisconsin. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Armando Mendez from Guaynabo, Puerto Rico. Company H is commanded by Cadet Captain Trevor Tenpin from Norway, Illinois. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant A.J. Sweet from Boston, Massachusetts. Company I is commanded by Cadet Captain Jonathan Benshaw from Honolulu, Hawaii. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Charles Kretzer from North Attleboro, Massachusetts. Since the days of the American Revolution, flag bearers have been an important element in ceremonies. At the center of today's formation and bearing the national color is the United States Corps of Cadets Color Guard, led by Cadet Color Sergeant Thomas Patton from Bethel, Connecticut. Marching with the colors is the Brigade Operations Sergeant Major, Cadet Sergeant Major Praise Yahweh from Paso Robles, California.
The 3rd Regiment is commanded by Cadet Captain Natalia Johnson from Los Angeles, California. The Regimental Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Anya Pocock from Chevy Chase, Maryland. The 1st Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Cameron Rowe from New York, New York. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major McLean Edelston from Burke, Virginia. Company A is commanded by Cadet Captain Rebecca Presnell from Tallahassee, Florida. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Maria Miroshnichenko from South Lake, Texas.
You okay?
Company B is commanded by Cadet Captain Samantha Carpenter from Wilmington, North Carolina. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Sonny Rogers from San Antonio, Texas.
You worried me. I thought you were fine. Like, are you okay?
Company C is commanded by Cadet Captain McLean Lowe from Saco, Maine. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Jamison Stopper from Naples, Florida. The second battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Massimo Luciano from Lester Prairie, Minnesota. The battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Nicholas Jones from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Company D is commanded by Cadet Captain Jacob Potter from East Grand Rapids, Michigan. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Alyssa Ray from Lago Vista, Texas. Company E is commanded by Cadet Captain Nicholas Blado from South Lake, Texas. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant John Mathis from Seattle, Washington.
Please tap your foot a little lighter. It's good.
Company F is commanded by Cadet Captain Elijah Hampton from Chattanooga, Tennessee. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Evan Galvin from East Aurora, New York. The 3rd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Jeremiah Celestin from Savannah, Georgia. The battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Sloan Anderson from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Company G is commanded by Cadet Captain Edward Jew from Leesburg, Virginia. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Jacob Drone from Overland Park, Kansas. Company H is commanded by Cadet Captain Jacob Bain from Bismarck, North Dakota. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Casey Adams from Cleveland, Ohio. I is commanded by Cadet Captain Ethan Thorley from Enumclaw, Washington. The First Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Angelina McCain from Corning, New York. The 4th Regiment is commanded by Cadet Captain Aaron Hunt from Guilford, Connecticut. The Regimental Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Justin Zetterwald from Yorktown, Virginia. The 1st Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Joey Lorette from Blue Springs, Missouri. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Sophia Jamino from Wichita, Kansas. Company A is commanded by Cadet Captain Reed Kidd from Alexandria, Virginia. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Jake Lee from San Diego, California. Company B is commanded by Cadet Captain Eric Viziri from Westlake, Ohio. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Lucy Halter from Madison, Alabama. Company C is commanded by Cadet Captain Jared Coastland from Glastonbury, Connecticut. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Alexandra Pranky from Delafield, Wisconsin. The 2nd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Aidan Smart from Port Murray, New Jersey. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Luke Dwyer from Syracuse, New York. Company D is commanded by Cadet Captain Silas Hawkinson from Greensville, Indiana. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Hudson Smith from Hendersonville, Tennessee. Company E is commanded by Cadet Captain Jack Wilson from Florence, South Carolina. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Susie Leonard from Cypress, Texas. Company F is commanded by Cadet Captain Jaden Jang from Stamford, Connecticut. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Nadia Zawinski from Bend, Oregon. 3rd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Joshua Crowder from Gastonia, North Carolina. The battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Paul Chow from Irvine, California. Company G is commanded by Cadet Captain Grace Case from Pinehurst, North Carolina. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Faith Kibbe from Green Bay, Wisconsin.
They might have. Let me see how they march.
Company H is commanded by Cadet Captain Quentin Weeks from Kansas City, Missouri. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Francis Tay from Cornwall-on-Hudson, New York.
On the other side, yeah.
Company I is commanded by Cadet Captain Owen Stout from St. Louis, Missouri. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Aiden Neza from Somers, New York.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Army song. The Army goes rolling along. Please feel free to sing along as it is played.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm really sorry. It's not.